In the book, Why We Hate Black Women, Why We Should Love Them, I talk about why so many successful black women are alone. If I could just get 2 minutes to explain it, because there's things that men have done that have contributed to the problem and things that women have done that have contributed to the problem. Number one, the reason why many men are intimidated or don't like pursuing a successful woman, a strong woman, is number one, he may be intimidated by her position, intimidated by her possessions, or intimidated by her personality. Number two, some men feel a sense of inadequacy anytime they're in the presence of a successful black woman, because every time he looks at her, it's a reminder of what he's failed to do in his own life. And so internally, he goes into this competition between him and his woman because he hasn't accomplished what she's accomplished. Number three, many men are traditional in their thinking and don't think it's a woman's place or role to have a job and make good money and be the provider. And so you have some men that have that, archaic Archie Bunker type philosophy, But then there are three things that women do that contribute to the problem as well. Not every man is intimidated by a woman who makes good money, but sometimes it's the attitude of superiority that the woman brings into the relationship and is quick to remind him about what she's done and what she has and what she's contributed. And in many respects, it emasculates the man in the relationship because you're quick to put him in his place. Number two, a lot of times, every time women accomplish something, that becomes the new standard by which they judge all future relationships. What that simply means is that if I've got a degree, he better have a degree. If I own my own home, he better not rent. If I could bench press 250 pounds, he better come correct. If I make $100,000, he better not make $1 less. So everything that she does, he's got to do equally good or better, and if he does not, he's X'd off the list. So as women empower themselves, unfortunately, a lot of men can't meet that standard because their standards obviously rise because they are rising and elevating to another level. The last thing, if I could quickly say this, one of the problems that women have in this scenario is that they bring their resume into the relationship. See, women have ultimately become the men that they seek. If they're seeking a man who has a good job, who has, wonderful possessions, who makes good money and can't find that, she becomes that. And so she brings all of those things into the relationship thinking that that will impress a man, and those things don't impress him. It's totally different things that impress a man and a woman. And so oftentimes that may drive a man away because these are the things that men are doing, these are the things that women are doing, and if we can remove money and the power that comes along with it out of the way and have a better relationship with our money, I think we would have a better relationship with one another.
Our men who grow up raised by their mothers, are a majority of them looking for women to take care of them like mommy did?
Well, because I don't know the majority of men, I'm not going to use an absolute. And
okay.
I heard, Stephanie laughing in the background. But the reality is there are many men that are seeking out their mother in their woman. Understand, if I grow up in a household and I see my mother fulfill a role, that's all I know. For instance, in the household where the mother is teaching the daughter to be strong, think about it. We raise our daughters and love our sons. So we see two different distinct roles being played in that household. And so in the household, if mommy is mommy and daddy, husband and wife, mother and father, and she's fulfilling all those roles, I may think, okay, well, that's what a woman's supposed to do. So now when I grow up and become a man and I'm seeking out a woman, I'm going to expect my woman to do what my mother did because everybody wants somebody, that's the example you set. When a man is not in the household, oftentimes when women get into relationships, they're seeking out a father figure in their man. It's no different for a man seeking that out in a woman. And so the reality, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, cannot be argued, does exist. Can I say the majority? No. Can I say a minority? No. But they're out there. See, a lot of women in the church, let me tell you something. I'm born and raised in the church. That's all I know. That's all I've ever been. But we have to understand that the Bible is more than a book of do's and don'ts. It is a culture that we're talking about. Yes. And in the African-American culture, submission is not a word that many of us have realized because of the family dynamic. So it's hard for women. They may love the Lord, they want to do what the Bible says, but when it comes to that area of submission, a lot of believers, I'm talking about serious, devoted, spirit-led, speaking in tongues, whatever you want to call them, women have a major issue in their relationships and in their family when it comes to the whole submission thing, because for many of us, it wasn't played out within our culture. That's why you have other cultures, whether they be white or Asian or Latino, it is assumed that they can adjust to submission a lot easier than black women because it was a part of their upbringing and culture. It just is what it is. Listen, there are 3 relationships, not one, but 3 that we must master. Number 1 is the relationship that you have with God. That's your vertical relationship. Number 2 is the relationship that you have with yourself. That is your internal relationship. Number 3, it is the relationship that you have with another. That is your horizontal relationship. We focus so much on horizontal relationships that we never take the time to master the internal or the vertical, so that when we run into situations, we have no foundation to stand on. So to answer that question, the lowest common denominator of every relationship that you enter into is you, because you take you everywhere you go. And sometimes there could be things inside of you that you're not even aware of that you're attracting to you that may not be good for you. So while in your conscious self you say, I don't want this, something unconsciously is working on the inside of you that keeps on drawing that same negativity to you, because there's negativity within you. So until you, as Stephanie say, become the best you that you can be, focus on becoming the best person that you can be, you will then begin to attract better people into your world.